Grab a beer and pull up a chair. Welcome to the Northwoods Beer Guy Podcast. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Northwoods Beer Guy Podcast. This is Mike, the Northwoods Beer Guy. And once again this week, we are joined by my brother, the mad scientist brewer, Brian. How's it going?
Hey, everybody.
Doing well?
Yes, I am.
Good. So this week, he brought another... How many do we got?
We got 8 this time.
8 more beers that were in the
Beer of the Month
Club. So looking at these, there's not, most of them I've never even heard of. No, I think the first one I've had before, but I can't guarantee it. So we're going to try them out though. And if you remember right, then we got 3, I should say, from
Bent River,
which I may have tasted one of. I don't remember what they had on tap, but I don't remember those ones for sure. So I may have had them. I'm not positive. But the other ones I haven't even heard of. So we're going to give them a whirl and see what happens. So what have you been up to since last week or the last time you were on the podcast?
Not a whole lot. Just trying to get caught up on stuff. So
there you go. That's pretty much all you can do. So awesome. Well, cool. Well, hey, we got 8 of them. We might as well just jump right into it. So the first one we got is in a little shorty can, and this is Hardywood Pils. It's a German style lager. And I looked on Untapped, and again, we don't have information cards on them or whatever. So I looked on there, and they've got a fairly decent length of a paragraph here. It says crisp, clean, and uncomparably quaffable.
Quaffable?
Is that like a technical term or what?
I'm not sure what quaffable is.
Okay. Hardywood Pils sparkles a brilliant shade of gold with rich cloud white head. Handcrafted with only the finest European Pilsner malt and German noble hops. Pils is patiently conditioned for weeks in our lagering tanks, maturing into a beer that refreshes the palate and satisfies the soul. Brewed in strict accordance with the, how do you say that? The
Reinheitsgebot.
Yeah, that thing.
Does it have the year on there?
No, isn't it like 14, some crazy thing? That's purity law in Germany.
The German purity law.
Yep. This classic Pilsner is the quintessential lager beer in its purest form. Tad drier than its bohemian cousin, with a signature snappy herbal spice of Bavarian Hallertau hops to balance delicate maltiness. This Pils offers a nod to old world tradition by the innovative brewers at Hardywood. Prost. Boy, they're talking it up.
Oh, yeah. The Reinheitsgebot beer purity law.
Isn't it from like 1457 or some crazy thing like that?
1516.
Oh, I was off.
The Reinheitsgebot law was put into effect.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I was 60 years off.
That is the German purity law saying that beer is supposed to be made out of water, malt, yeast, and hops.
Yep. I was going to say, we had talked about that when Toby was on the podcast one time about that law. And it's like, you think about it, it's pretty much stayed the same since 1516 or whatever you said.
There's a lot of adjuncts and different stuff that's added into them. But it is still, you start with those 4 main ingredients. And it's pretty crazy that it's been that way for 500 years.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yes. That's what I say. So this one, it's not bad.
Not bad.
I mean, you look at it, it's a little cloudier than like your American Pilsners.
Yes.
So I'm guessing it's not filtered. But taste-wise, aroma-wise, first off, I mean, it smells like a Pilsner.
Yes.
Taste-wise, this would be a lawnmower beer.
Yeah, it's not a bad beer.
But it has some flavor to it. I give it that,
No, I give them credit. They did a good job at...
And it's in a little shorty bottle. That's kind of weird. I'm guessing it's a 12-ounce bottle. But
it's a 12-ounce bottle, but it's only about 6 inches tall.
Yeah, it's a little shorty one. Shorter and thicker, I guess, is what you would say. Yep. We got 2 of those in this tasting. It's kind of funny. Yeah, it's, where did we say? Oh, it's out of Richmond, Virginia. 5.2%, 35 IBUs. So remember the last time we tried these, they were mostly out west.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see if most of these now are in the eastern half of the U.S. or what. But once again, Brian had got them from a Beer of the Month club, and so we're giving them a whirl here, see what what they taste like. So this one it's not bad. I don't mind it.
No, it's a good beer. It's nice and clean, no bad off flavors. It's not overcarbonated.
Yeah, not like a couple of those we had the last time.
Yes.
They were definitely, you could tell, were overcarbonated.
You open the bottle and it starts foaming up right away.
Yeah. We had a couple of them like that were a little sketch. But yeah, this one is decent. I mean, as far as, so score-wise, our normal scoring system, 0 to 5 stars, and by 1/10 of a point. I'm going to give this like a 2.8, 2.7, 2.8. Okay. I go a 2.8. I think it's better than average. Good crisp flavor to it. Not a huge amount of flavor, but it's still there is flavor. There's more than some of the ones that we had last time. I'm going to go 2.7. Okay. Just a little bit below. It is a really good beer. Good lawnmower beer, like you said. I'm not a big fan of Pilsners. Right.
But this is way better than some of the other ones we've had.
I was going to say, especially, and I hate to say it this way, but especially out of the Beer of the Month club, some of the Pilsners we've had out of there before have been a little bit, where this one is not bad. This would be a decent one if it's hot out, ice cold.
Yep.
I think it would be a good one. Well, I guess we can jump right into the second one we got. And this is it's by Sierra Blanca Brewing Company, Outlaw Lager. It's a California Common, is what Untapped says.
Okay.
5.2%, 34 IBUs. It's out of Moriarty, New Mexico. And it says, this unique lager balances a rich caramel malt flavor with a smooth hop finish that keeps the palate crisp. Reddish amber in color, this is a complex California Common beer style with a great malt hop balance. So most of the time,
one I have not made is a California Common.
Well, when I think of California Common, I always think of like Anchor Brewing.
Yes.
That's kind of the one that everybody knows about.
Yep.
So you said you haven't made a California. What do you know? What?
Well,
what
say like some of them they do natural fermentation on them.
Right. And
so
I think
they
that's
don't.
What Anchor did.
Yes.
In these great big tubs or whatever.
So it was just open to the air for the fermentation, and I don't like that.
Right. Well,
there's too good of a chance of getting infected with something.
See, that's what I was going to say. It seems like that leads to chances of bad things getting into there.
Yes.
You got to sift out the bugs if they get in your beer or what,
Yep.
And maybe it's because, in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, those type of upper Midwest, you have more bugs. Maybe I don't know,
right?
But I just think that
I've never been to California, so maybe they don't have bugs out there, but we have a lot of them here.
Yeah, I've only been there once, and it wasn't around a brewery that was doing that. So I don't know. It just seems like you're opening yourself up to more things to make it go bad. So it definitely is like an amber type color. That's not bad.
No.
I mean, that's got a pretty decent...
It's a pretty malty beer. I mean, it's pretty sweet caramel flavors. So they've used probably a lot of caramel. I'm going to guess 80 or 120 malt.
Yeah, they don't say what they use for malt, but you definitely get that caramely kind of a flavor to it. Yeah, I like that. I think that's pretty good.
That's not a bad beer at all.
No, I would drink a bottle of this.
And it is a lager.
Yes.
Which is surprising. I mean, a lot of times the lagers have a lighter grain bill, so they're all lighter in color, Okay. Yeah. But no, this is more like your darker amber style beer, just that it's lager. That's actually pretty darn good.
Pretty good. It's surprising, honestly. Mm-hmm. When I think back to the ones that we tried before, those 6, this one is right up there with the top ones at this point. And this is good. I like this, and I don't exactly think we'll ever get any more
probably not
from New Mexico. That's I don't think we'll get down there.
Not until I rejoin the beer club again.
Yeah. No, this is good.
I think I had paused it until I thought last October, but it never restarted. So
you can
maybe it's this October.
It could be this October. Who knows?
well,
like I said,
we'll
I mean, it is fun. It's really cool because you never know what you're going to get beers from all over the country, but it is kind of expensive.
Yeah, it is. It's like $42 a 12-pack.
Yeah,
for it.
Which, again, you and I have both spent more on single beers than you do on that, but it still is kind of like...
Well, it's more the inconvenience of when they tell you they're going to deliver it, you have to make sure someone's at your house to sign for it.
Right. See, and I don't...
Which, luckily, I got lucky where Mom and Dad could go up there and get it.
Right. Well, and like for me, being in Wisconsin, a lot of these places can't ship to Wisconsin for whatever reason. And I'm sure it's that stupid 3-tier crap that Wisconsin has going so that you can't get beer shipped here. So a lot of times you're like, oh, I'd like to get that. And then you go, oh, we can't ship to Wisconsin, So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I mean, this is good. I mean, as far as score-wise, what do you think on the Outlaw Lager?
I would probably do like a 2.9.
I'm going to do the same. Like I said, it is definitely, for me, it's pushing that 3, but it's still a 2.9. But this is really good. Mm-hmm. I definitely think this is...
Oh, yeah, it's a good
beer. Flavor of a beer, especially out of the Beer of the Month Club.
Yes.
And I know we talked about it last time. We don't know how these breweries choose these. Sometimes I just wonder if it's stuff they got stuck with. And
we can't sell this, so we're going to send it over here.
But this one is good. This one is very good. So I think they did a good job. So the next 3 we got are all by Bent River.
And I just laid these out by the style of beer.
Right.
We can look at them. I think the first one is a wheat.
Yes. Yep.
So we'll go with that one, and then we can, if we want to mix up the pale ales, we can switch them up with something else.
Oh, sure. Yep. But like I said, this Bent River I've been to a couple times because that's when Callie played basketball at Bradley.
Yep.
Their conference tournament was in Moline. We'd go there, and we'd stop here before the game started, so we'd hit that. And it's a cool place.
And I just laid them out like this, everyone. So it's basically going by beer style,
right?
Because
from latest
anyone who drinks IPAs, if you drink a bunch of IPAs and then you go to a Pilsner, you can't taste nothing.
Right.
So
yep. And my brother told me one time before, if you feel a cold coming on, you're supposed to drink 6 IPAs.
It's absolutely right. Yep.
And that's supposed to get rid of
the tannins in the hops help fight off a cold.
So I didn't know.
And I'm going to believe it because it came from a beer magazine.
Well, like I said, I don't know if it's that or if by the time you're done with 6 of them that you got a buzz going and you really don't care that you're sick.
Well, either way,
either or.
Good.
Either or. So yeah.
I have found if I have a really bad cold... And if anyone out there knows where you can get a 120-minute IPA from Dogfish Head, and you got a bad chest cold, drink a bottle of the 120-minute IPA, and it burns it right out. I've done it many times. It's an amazing beer.
Oh, sure.
And it'll fight off your cold.
See? Now, in 120-minute, that's like their...
That's the top. Yes, that's one, right? That's a 120 IBUs, I think, and 17% alcohol.
Well, because they have, I know they got 90
They got 60 minute, 90, and 120.
Right?
Yes, the 120, if you can find it, where I used to get it, it was $43.99 a 4-pack.
I was going to say, remember the one time we got it at Eddie's, and it was like $40 for a 4-pack.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, ladies and gentlemen, that is expensive and such, but in the grand scheme of things, for a craft beer,
a craft beer, you're talking that 17% alcohol.
Yeah.
So you only have one.
Yeah.
You buy 4, you put them in your fridge, and you save them.
Yep. And like I said, cost wise, I mean, we've spent more on, of course, your bourbon counties are typically more than that.
Yeah, they're anywhere from 20 to $75 a piece for a bourbon county.
And of course, you and I and Larry and Jim, we each kicked in and we bought a bottle of Utopia, and that was $200 a bottle, and which that one's 29%, but it's kind of on the verge of not being beer.
Yeah,
but it was good, and I enjoyed it. So yeah. So let's see. So this one, getting back to this, the Bent River American Wheat Ale. Did we have... Nope, on Untapped, we have no description. So...
I don't care for that one.
Well, looking at it, I had it at the brewery, so I'm going to see what I think now compared to what I said then.
It's kind of really harsh.
That is tart.
Yes, and it's crazy because
wow,
for an American wheat, it should not be that tart.
I don't necessarily even taste the wheat.
No,
in it. It is just sour.
Yes.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. When we had it at the brewery, fresh out of the tap, I gave it a 2.1. This bottle here is nowhere near
a 2.1. No,
I'm just going to say right now, I'm like
5.
Exactly what I was going to say. I'm going to 1.5 because this is
it's hard to even drink a taster glass. I don't think I even am. I probably will. Because we always say you can drink a taster glass.
Yeah, if you got to at least drink the taster glass. It's only so much. But boy, I think when we're done, that one we might not try again because that is just
that's really bad.
And hopefully for them, it's just that bottle. You know what I mean? But like I said, I gave it a 2.1 at the brewery. So I'll guarantee Jim was probably lower than that.
Yep.
But boy, out of the bottle. Oof.
Yeah, that's a disappointment.
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, most of the time when you get a wheat beer, you can taste that wheat flavor. You know what I mean? You know it's a wheat. Yep. This one,
nope.
It's like I hope that it went bad in the bottle, like I said, but I don't know. It is sour and
not good.
Yeah, I would not recommend this. New people coming into craft beer, no.
I'm rinsing my glass after that one.
Oh, here, I'll give you mine too. I'd rather not have any remnants of that one in there for the next one. Wow, that is just rough. All right, well, man, I hope the next ones aren't the same.
Yeah, well, the next ones are IPAs.
They're IPAs, so
or pale ales. I think that's a pale ale, I think, that one.
Okay, let's see. Okay, I have not had this. So this is from Bent River as well. This is their Day Trotter Pale Horse Pale Ale. 5.2%, 30 IBUs. And they do have a description on here.
So, here we go.
All right. It says, for over a decade, Day Trotter has shined a spotlight on up-and-coming bands by recording their work and giving them a stage to showcase their talents here in the Quad Cities. When Bent River Brewing Company agreed to brew a beer with Day Trotter, they wanted to shine a spotlight on some lesser-known hop varieties. The Pale Horse is brewed with Azaka and Hull melon hops, Hull melon hops, which lends flavors of strawberry and honeydew melon to this refreshing, easy drinking pale ale. So let's see if we get strawberry or honeydew melon. I mean, it smells like an IPA. You know what I'm saying? Looks like an IPA.
I get no melon or strawberry.
No, I don't taste that at all either. It's got kind of it has a different flavor. I'm gonna say that for sure.
It's a little overcarbonated.
Yes.
Which could be just because of how long I've had it.
Right. Yeah, that could affect the flavor a little bit, but I don't get strawberry. I don't get honeydew melon.
No.
It does, like you said, that overcarbonate. It has that fizzy when you drink it. You know?
And that really messes with the flavor of it.
Right. So, man, I don't know what to think of this one. You know what I mean? It's not terrible.
I'm hoping when it's not like that, it's better.
Right.
But I don't know. Even with the hops they called out, I just don't think you would get strawberry or melon.
Okay. Because, you and I had talked about that earlier about, you hear these hop varieties, and I can tell you, some of them, yes, you taste like grapefruit. It's a tropical flavor. Mm-hmm. I really have never had tropical flavor. And I can safely say
one tastes like stone fruit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What the hell does stone fruit taste like?
That is exactly what Jim and I talk about. What's a stone fruit taste like?
which I should learn. Since I'm a brewer, I need to go and I need to buy a stone fruit somewhere.
To see what it tastes like. But this, have you ever had a hop that tastes like strawberry?
No.
I've never had a beer that tastes
I never have.
From the hops.
The only beers that I have had that taste like strawberry is because I put strawberry puree in it.
Right. That's what I'm thinking, so it's, and the same with honeydew melon, because we know what, honeydew melon, what a honeydew melon tastes like.
Yes, and I've never had one that tastes like
And I've never had that. It's either grapefruit, lemon zest, or pine. That's kind of the three flavors for the most part.
Yep.
So I don't know when breweries call out, it's going to taste like strawberry or whatever, unless you put some kind of strawberry adjunct in there.
No, you're not going to get it.
Right. That's what I was thinking anyway. And boy, I'm getting burpy from, you know what I mean? From the, it's overcarbonated. It is overcarbonated,
yes.
So it's like, woof,
That's why I moved it back so that one can get dumped out at the end.
Yeah. Score wise, I'm going up a 2.0 myself. I think it's just
I would say what they're calling also.
It's what Jim has said the whole time. If it's on the label, it should be right. If it's on the can, it should be in the can. Yep. I get no strawberry. I get no honeydew melon. No. So I'm gonna give them a 2 because it is overcarbonated, which will affect the flavor a little bit, but I don't think that is what is not.
It didn't affect it enough to take the flavors away.
Right.
So I'm gonna do the same 2.0.
Okay. Again, not a knock on them because, like I said, I've been to the brewery a couple times and they got a really cool place. They have some really good beers, and it could be like you said, it's been sitting for a while, but I've never tasted a hop that made a beer taste like strawberry or honeydew melon. So
Yep. Only time I get a lot of them flavors like that is what I put into it.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. So the first 4, we're halfway through, Brian. Halfway through this extravaganza.
And we're at 50-50 so far.
Right now we're 50-50 going,
I'm like, darn it, I should have tried these first.
Yeah. Well, when you get these, do you get like 2 bottles each, 3 bottles each?
3 bottles each.
3 bottles each? Okay. Yep. So you have some of these still sitting
2 breweries, 2 beers, 3 bottles each.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got more of these I got 2 more of each of these at my house.
I think what you need to do is have a little beer tasting and just have other people.
Oh, yeah, it'll be on my deck this summer when we're doing a big cookout.
There you go.
You want a good beer, you got to drink one of these first.
Exactly.
I mean, we're doing samplings.
Yeah, sampling. That's what it is. All right. Well, now we're on to our third and final Bent River. And this is their Undercurrent IPA. And I have had this one before. And at the brewery, it was pretty good. Is what I'll tell you right now. Let's see. So the description on this one is a lot shorter. This is copper color, sweet citrus fruits up front, almost floral, moderate and delicious bitter finish. Done. That's it.
Okay.
So, like I said, this one they did have on tap at the brewery when we were there, and we'll see how it compares to what I think of it compared to when we were there. That one definitely has a little more flavor to it.
Yes, it's a little more balanced.
Yeah, this is not bad.
No.
And
it doesn't say what the hops they used or
not on the description. It didn't. It is 6.8% ABV and 68 IBUs.
I see. It seemed a little higher on the malt, so it is. Yeah, this 6.8%. It is.
They did say that it has malt. Well, actually, no, they didn't. Well, copper color, sweet citrus fruits up front. Almost floral, moderate, and delicious bitter finish.
This is about the same color as my Mosaic IPA.
Okay.
But a little less of the hop flavoring. But it's
a little less beer. Hop compared to yours.
Yeah.
Yours has more of a hop flavor to it.
Yeah, my Mosaic IPA, which I only use Mosaic hops in it.
Okay.
But we put a lot of Mosaic hops in it.
Sure.
But the nice part is that's one of them beers that even the non-IPA drinkers will drink.
Really?
Yeah, it's there's not a lot of bite.
Oh,
and not a lot of bitterness to it.
Okay, because I was going to say, with a lot of hops, you'd think there'd be a lot more.
You would think it would be, but it's with all the Mosaic hops, it does have more of the citrus flavor.
Okay.
And where people are like, I don't like IPAs. We're like, well, okay, hold on. Try these two, because I have that one on right now, and then I have a we call Black Helmet IPA, which anyone that's in the beer world, it's a Cascadian black ale.
Okay.
But the owners wanted to call it a black IPA because it's like 60 IBUs.
Oh, gotcha.
With that one, the roasted malts mask a lot of the hop bitterness.
Okay.
So even the non-IPA lovers will drink it because of the coffee flavor in it.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So, yeah. Because we've talked about it before where hops are definitely very polarizing.
Yes, and they scare people away.
Yeah. Yep. Because, when you get a lot of people that aren't very craft beer savvy together, and you give them, even bring out just an APA or a regular pale ale, there's people that think that's just, oh my gosh, that's terrible. It's so hoppy. Uh-huh. They don't even know what the flavor is. They just instantly are turned off. Yeah. Because all they drink are your big brands and that have no flavor. Yep. So yeah, it's interesting.
Which I even had one guy one time in there when I was bartending that night. My lawnmower beer that I served down there is called Dalmatian Ale. It's a very mild ale, moderately hopped. It's not real bitter.
Yep.
But I had a Coors Light drinker try it, and oh my God, I thought he was going to fall on the floor. That is so strong. And I'm like, what? It's like, this is the mildest beer I've ever made.
Wow, yeah.
I'm like, okay, whatever.
Well, I'm sure you remember, a number of episodes ago when I was talking about people that drive you to drink. That would be,
yep.
When I was talking about the person that goes to a craft brewery and asks, what's the closest thing you have to this?
Yes.
And it's like, the water we made it out of, and it's like, oh.
We get that a fair amount where people asking, what do we have that's like Busch Light?
Exactly. Yeah.
And we're like, I'm sorry, why do you go to a brewery?
Why would you go to a brewery?
Yeah.
Yeah, why would you go to a brewery and ask for that? It makes no sense to me at all. So yeah. Those guys. Well, if you remember from my story when Susie and I were at Industry Brewing in Peoria, and those two old guys came in, and they were giving the bartender a hard time. And she's like, "Sir, you're at a craft brewery. We brew our own beer. You don't have Miller Lite here." And she dug around in this little dorm fridge looking, little thing, and found one. I got this. Okay, and then they left after they were done. And I was just like,
we always
really,
it's disrespectful to the brewer.
Oh yeah,
to go to a brewery and not at least try one of their beers.
Yep. Well, and it's funny. I think I told you about it, where the one time Jim it was an Oktoberfest party at his house, and we decided, we're going to do a beer tasting. So because all these people are coming. Oh, the one cousin of this friend of ours. Oh, he's this huge craft beer guy, and all these other people. They want to be in on it. In case we did Oktoberfest, we did pumpkin, and then wild card. Okay. So the guy that I was told was this huge craft beer guy, we got done with the Oktoberfest category, and he went in the house and passed out, basically. And the pumpkin beers went okay, but then we went to wild card, and Jim had a Goose Island Bourbon County Stout, brought it out, and there was like 3 of the people that were in it, looked at it, dumped it in the dump bucket, and said, "Oh, it's terrible, 0." And somebody put Miller Lite in the wild card. "Oh, 5. That's a 5." All these people, and it's like, I told Jim, I said, well, we can never do this again.
Yep.
I'm like, you can't do a beer tasting with people that have no idea.
With non-craft beer drinkers.
Correct. What they're doing, because it was so skewed. You know what I mean? And we're just like, Are you kidding me? And it was funny because Jay, who's been at a number of our tastings, I think he participated last September, was the first time he ever actually participated. Because he was never a craft beer guy, but he's slowly getting into it. And this more, he does it, he likes to hang out with us. And but he ended up winning it, right? And so whoever won got Jim somehow got a big beer stein from Sam Adam. Well, I ended up trading him a sweatshirt for it because he's like, well, I don't need it, But the funny thing was he was just like, guys, I thought the funniest thing was, Jim breaks out that Goose Island and that thing's like $20 a bottle, and how many people just dumped it out without even tasting it. And I'm like,
yep.
Yeah. It was just rough, Yep. And we've never done that since, because it's like, no, you can't. Especially when people won't have an open mind about trying different beers.
Yeah.
And I think that's the part of the craft beer industry that I really enjoy is the vast majority of the people, they're willing to try anything. Just get a beer and try it. And
we see something new and we're like, oh, yes, we're going to try one.
Yeah. And that's, how many times have we been, well, I do it all the time. I know you do it all the time. You're at the beer shop, wherever, whatever liquor store you're at, and you're like, oh, I've never even heard of that. I'm going to try it, And it might be horrible. It might be great, but we're going to try it, and I wish more people would do that, where they're willing to be a little more open, to new things like that. Anytime
we go to a new brewery, we get a sample of one of everything they make on tap.
Oh, yeah.
Because, we want to see what they're doing, how it is, and if it's something I need to look into.
Yep. Well, it's funny because like when Susie and I went to Hawaii, when Callie was playing in that tournament, last year, and the same thing. We went to Maui Brewing, and I got flights to every beer they had. We tried. Actually, we tried the normal stuff. We did a podcast of that. The night before, we had their, I can't remember what they called it, but it was like their other series. And I ended up trying all of those that night. And then when we went to Waikiki Brewing, they had 14 beers on tap, and we tried them all. I bought 2 flights, and I think they gave me the last 4 because we told them what we were doing and all that. And they were like, here you go. And we haven't done a podcast on it. I still have my notes on it, and we should, but I'll give them a shout out because their beers were really good. They had some amazing ones. They had a habanero beer that was honestly really good. And they had a couple other ones that were extremely good. And then they had one in my notes that said, smelled and tasted like dirty socks. So that one wasn't very good, but overall their beers were great. The food was amazing. And that's the one thing I told the waitress that we had. I said, I can count on one hand the number of breweries that I had been to where the beer is great and the food is great. Because usually it's one or the other.
Right. Yep.
Or neither, But yeah, they were very good. So, all right. So let's get back to the Undercurrent IPA. What are you thinking on a score for that one?
Oh, I'm probably, I think I'm going to do a 2.5.
2.5 on it?
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking a little bit higher, but I was going to go like a 2.7, 2.8. I'll go 2.7. Again, I do kind of like the maltiness of it, but it seems like the IPA side of it could be a little bit better.
And then on mine, it was a little charged again.
Right. Yeah.
So that's probably a skew in my score a little bit. It's still a good beer. It just
right.
It could have been better.
It's missing something or whatever. All right. So the next one that we have, we got a little bit of a write-up. This is by Upland Brewing Company, and they are out of Bloomington, Indiana. This is their Dragonfly IPA. I'm seeing some foam.
It started, yeah. Well, it's not too bad when you pour it.
So this is a 6.7% ABV, 65 IBUs. And it says, our Dragonfly India Pale Ale is brewed with 4 hop additions to create a powerful hop profile. A solid malt base, however, tempers the bitter American hops, giving Dragonfly a balance not often found in this style. The end product is a well-balanced malty beer with crisp taste of hops and an exceptionally floral nose.
I wish they would have listed the hops.
Yeah, they didn't say what they were.
There's nothing called American hops.
Okay. It just said 4 American hops.
There are American
strains.
Strains of hops, right. Yes. So I wish they would have said what they were, but...
So you wonder, did they just put 4 hops in the barrel? Or
yeah. It's not very hoppy at all.
No, this of the 3 IPAs we had, 4 no 3.
Yep.
This is
the lightest
hop
one.
wise, and it's, what did I say? They said it was 65
It does
IBUs.
not seem like it, but that could be the grain bill, because it is pretty malty.
Yeah.
And that will affect your hop flavor.
Okay. But it seems to me this is like taste, like the bitter hop flavor. This is the lowest of the 3.
Yes.
I would say.
Yep. So that's why I wish they would have said which hops.
Right.
Was it Willamette and Mount Hood and Northern Brewer, which are all milder hops.
Okay.
Or what? But I suppose they're worried about someone replicating it, so they didn't want to. But
well,
they wouldn't have to worry about it.
I'm sorry, but every beer out there has a clone recipe out there available to anybody for the most part. So.
Yep, anymore, yep.
I mean, it's not bad.
No,
I don't mind it. I mean, honestly,
it's a good beer.
Honestly, this might be my top
favorite
of
so
the
far.
3 IPAs.
Yep.
But like I said, you wish they would have been a little more, because they build it up to be like this big hop flavor, and it's not that.
Nope.
And again, I'm not ripping on it for that at all. But again, just times you wish they would, like you said, if they listed, here's the hops that were used, then you'd have had a better idea that, yes, this is what we should expect. But yeah, I don't mind it. I like I said, the 3 IPAs we've had so far, I think this is the best of the 3.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's color wise, has a little bit of a golden color. It's not, it's a little opaque. You can't see through it.
It's a malty beer when you drink it. It's got a little sweetness to it, which, like I said, that will affect how hoppy it is.
Right. But yeah, it's not bad. Like score wise, what are you thinking? So of the IPAs, you gave a 2 and a 2.5.
I'm gonna do a 2.7.
Okay.
Well, is that all right? I have a 2.7.
Well, you have a tie. That's okay.
I'll do 2.8. How about that?
I'll say I'll allow a tie. That's not a big deal to me. But if Jim were here, he'd have been like, whoa.
He would have threw down right there.
He'd have said, whoa. Oh man! Now that I look at my scores, I'm kind of painted myself in a corner, because if you don't want to do a tie, I've already used a 2.8 and a 2.9, and I had a 2.7 and a 2. It's not a 3.
No,
to me,
it's not a 3 beer.
Well, I'm going to cheat. The undercurrent is going to go to a 2.6, and this will go to 2.7. So, just to keep it balanced there.
Yeah, because it's not a 3 beer, but it's not a bad beer either. I mean, it's just.
I'd drink one of these on a hot day.
We're just really picky on our beer scores.
Mm-hmm. And like Jim said, he just wants there not to be scores, because that way, people can kind of gauge.
Yes.
This one was a little bit better than this one, and I give him credit. That is a good reason, to do that. So I give him credit, but like I said, it's always funny because like, hey, you can't have a tie, So I was like, okay. So and he's had to change some scores before because of that, because you're like, oh. That one was better than this one, and I got to change this, or this is better than that, but it's not that, So, so we have 2 beers left, and these are going to be the 2 darker ones that we have for this group. And it's, we got another little shorty bottle.
Yep.
So let's see what we got here.
It's a dark lager from Hardywood Brewing. An American dark lager.
Oh, here we go. Okay. 5% ABV. Oh, I've got a little write-up here on Untapped. If you enjoy Richmond's authentic craft lager in Hardywood... Oh. We had an issue, ladies and gentlemen. It was foaming up. Let me start over. If you enjoy Richmond's authentic craft lager in Hardywood Richmond Lager, you can't miss Hardywood Richmond Dark Lager this winter season. Richmond Dark Lager provides the same refreshing and crisp experience with an ever so slight sweet dark malt characteristic. Is it still foaming?
Yep. I'll try it and see if it... we gotta dump it, I think. Just try it. It seems like it's so foamy that... All you get is the foam.
Yeah, it just foams up instantly.
Which just sucked. The last one I had actually was decent.
That's all right, though.
Yeah, the last time when we went to Kelly's parents' house, I brought one of each of these.
Yeah.
And the Pilsner foamed all up. And this one didn't.
All right, so we're down to our last one. And this one is River Horse Oatmeal Milk Stout by River Horse Brewing Company. And they're out of Ewing, New Jersey. And it's 6.7% ABV. And it says, a velvety smooth stout brewed with oats and milk sugar that create a creamy finish over a dark malt base. 6.7% ABV, available November through February. So,
well, they talked it up, and it sounds amazing. So hopefully it lives up.
Oatmeal milk stout. We had talked about a very good one last time. In the Buffalo Sweat, because isn't that an oatmeal?
Yep, it's an oatmeal cream stout.
Cream stout. What's the difference between a cream stout and a milk stout?
They're the same.
Same. Okay, just different.
See, the oatmeal cream stouts have flaked oats in it, where the milk stout doesn't. But they both have powdered lactose in them.
This isn't bad. It's not Buffalo Sweat, but it's not bad.
No, it's not a bad beer.
No,
they talked it up a lot.
Yes.
So I was I was expecting a little bit more by what the write-up was.
Right.
But it is a good beer.
Yeah. And again, we are partial to the stouts and things like that, but it's not bad.
No.
But like I said, it's not, we've definitely had some other ones that are
better.
Better, but I this isn't bad. I mean, of this group, this one here, I can see going into it like a 3.
Yeah. Yes, I'd say a 3 also.
It
definitely, I mean, for a beer I got in the mail.
Right. Right. That we still don't know how they pick them and all that. No, I don't mind this. I'd say this is the best of the.
Yes.
Of the
yeah, I would give this,
group.
I would say this is the best of the ones we did on this session.
Yep. I would agree. It definitely has that malty flavor.
Yep. The coffee notes, of course, from the roasted grains.
Yep. And you get that.
It's smooth from the lactose.
I say your milk stout, they usually have that smooth mouth feel. This definitely has that, Yeah, I think this is 3.0. This is the best one that we had in this group.
Yep, I agree.
And after that, I would go, after this one, I'd say, the milk stout was number 1. The Outlaw Lager was number 2.
Yes. Yep.
I think we're in agreement there that was, actually your Dragonfly IPA, you rated it higher.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think that was neck and neck.
Yeah, they were
because
really
that was my
close.
third, so it was, they were close. But yeah, I think these are definitely good. And like I said, same thing we said last time, these are beers other than the Bent River, we probably never would have even tried them.
Didn't know they were around.
So yeah, they're really good. And, yeah, thank you so much for bringing them and letting, deciding we're going to try them here and do a podcast on them. So, like I said, they were definitely good. I think all of these, for the most part, a new person could try them.
Yes.
There are a couple of the IPAs. That wheat ale I wouldn't have recommended to a new person because that
wasn't good.
It didn't taste like an actual wheat ale. So I guess thanks, Brian. Thank you so much for bringing them and being a part of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure we'll have you back real soon and all that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Hopefully, some of these beers might be in your area. Maybe that, or you could be like us where you never would see them unless you had the Beer of the Month Club or something like that.
And if you're looking for something really fun to get in the mail, definitely look into the Craft Beer of the Month Club.
There you go. Like I said, it's it's Christmas every month.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Exactly. Because if you wouldn't have got them, we wouldn't have had them right now.
That's right.
Awesome. Well, cool. Well, hey, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. And like we always say, we hope your campfire is always warm.
And your beers are always cold.
See ya. Thank you for listening to the Northwoods Beer Guy podcast. If you have a question, a comment, or a beer you'd like us to review, please feel free to send us a message at northwoodsbeerguy@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you're on Untappd, look up Northwoods Beer Guy and send a friend request. Until next week, I hope all your campfires are warm and all your beer is cold.